Hey guys, welcome back. For today's audio, I wanted to talk about endurance and enduring through hard times, enduring through difficult times, enduring through relationships, and just any situation that we have in general in life. So, Holy Spirit, I pray that you cover this word and that it be all of you and none of me. So I was just thinking, we often forget how much we've really gone through and how much we've really had to endure. Like, for 3 years, and I know everyone hates talking about COVID, trust me, I hate it too, but for 3 years, like, it was just the weirdest transition type of period in our lives. And I think that because things slowed down so much, when things went back to quote unquote normal, everything sped up. Everything sped up. And usually teachers will tell you, high school is going to be the fastest 4 years of your life, right? And that might have been true, but that was sped up times 3 for people who entered high school during COVID, which was me. And so we had to endure so much, and there was so much changes and so much adaptability that we had to do because we were not used to this. We were not used to this time. We were not used to these constraints and these restrictions. We were not used to being around family and friends, and COVID exposed a lot in people and exposed a lot of things that we had to remove from our lives. And so a lot of habits left, a lot of patterns went, a lot of negative behaviors went. And when you think about it, we really endured all of that. Like, a lot of us think that, we don't think much of it. We're like, yeah, I've been through things, whatever. And we kind of just zoom past it without giving ourselves credit for how much we've really endured, right? And so God cannot partner with us if we are not willing to partner with him. And that is what we call disalignment, or coming out of agreement with. And so basically God might say, I want us to do this, and this together, and I want you to collaborate with me on this. But unless we say, yes, God, unless we give him our yes, none of those things can happen, because faith without works is dead. And so a lot of us discredit ourselves or say, oh, we've been so disobedient, or oh, I've been this and I've been that. But we fail to remember the times in which we gave God our yes. Like, I don't know about you, but I was giving God my yes back to back to back to back. And I think part of it was because my back was to the wall. Like, I really felt like I didn't have any other choice, but I did have a choice. I had a choice to lay on my bed and rot like everybody else was doing during COVID, or get up and take a pen and take a paper and write down difficult things. And the more that I grow up, and the more that I begin to live my life, I realize how many things have really affected me. And I realize how much trauma and how much unhealed things and parts that I have to me. And I've been talking to God about a specific issue that I feel like I'm not going to do very well in, and that is with relationships. Before COVID, I had a friend group, and they weren't the best friend group. I was still in the world at that time, but I had a friend group, and I knew how it felt like to have friends. I never thought to myself, oh, what if my friends don't choose me? I was always chosen, amongst people. And then when COVID happened, and the whole transition happened, I found myself friendless because God was pruning me, and he took a lot of people out of my life. And so I found myself with absolutely no friends, absolutely nobody. And so now I'm in a position where I have to think to myself, will I have friends for this? I'm graduating soon, and we have a graduation mass, we have a graduation dinner, we have all of these things. And the first thing that pops up to my mind is, who am I going to sit with? Who am I going to talk to? Am I going to be sitting alone for this? And it's so real in that way, because that's all I think about. And so I'm struggling so much in this area of, friendship. And so I was talking to God about how I'm so afraid for romantic relationships. I have always been an academic weapon. I've never been worried about boys or anything like that. I've actually never worried about that. But I'm at a point in my life where I realize that is character development. I'm at a point in my life where I realize that stuff like that does matter, and it shapes me, and we were not created to be alone, right? And that sooner rather than later, I'm going to need experience in those places. But I am so afraid to pursue that place. And I think that a lot of old problems that I thought I had been delivered from, or I guess I had just ignored, they're coming back up to surface. So self-esteem issues, or worthiness, and everything. And so I feel annoyed that all this stuff is coming back up to surface because I thought I had dealt with it, when in reality I did not deal with it. I really didn't. And so this is God's way of showing me that, like, you want this, but in order to get this and get the best of what I have for you, you have to go through this. And that is endurance, and that's what it is. And a lot of the times we hate the journey, and like, but you have to think about it. Like, I don't want to get to the finale. I don't want to get to the finish line with just the reward, you know. Like, I want to be able to say, like, this was my journey and it was beautiful. It was tough at times. It was easy some other times. I had great days. I had bad days. But this is my journey and I'm proud of it, and I'm proud of who I am. And that is why I've made it to the finish line. I don't want to make it to the finish line taking a shortcut, you know, just so that I can say that I've made it there, right? Like, the journey is what really molds you and shapes you. The reward, the finish line, the job that you've always wanted, the house you've always wanted, the car you've always wanted, that is the cherry on top. But unless you go through those motions, the reward really doesn't matter. And so God's saying, well, you know, if you want this good group of friends, if you want this good partner, significant other, like, you're going to need to change some things in you. He cannot put us in a romantic relationship with somebody and we have low self-esteem, because that person will love on us, love who we are, want to be with us, but in the back of our minds we're telling ourselves, oh, that person's cheating on me. And that is how we self-sabotage, when we're so used to being disappointed and when we're so used to getting the shorter end of the stick. When somebody comes and is offering us life and offering us newness, it almost seems too good to be true. But then we have to ask ourselves, is it too good to be true, or is this a question of worthiness? Is this a question of, do you think you're worthy of it, right? So I just wanted to make an episode about it and talk to you guys. Like, you have to go through the motions, and that is what endurance really is. You have to persevere. Like, what other option is there? To rot and to be like the zombies of this earth? We don't have time for that. We were created for a bigger purpose, and sooner or later you're going to have to answer the call.